One. Hey everybody, John Moore here, and I am a shamanic teacher and practitioner in the state of Maine. And today I'm going to give you a number of prompts, 8 of them, for doing shadow work. They're good for beginners, they're good for people who may have even been doing it for a while, but these are good for everybody. Why do we want to do shadow work? Well, the shadow is the parts of ourselves that we have exiled, right? Parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at, they're socially unacceptable, we feel shameful about them, whatever. So we throw them over our shoulder, we drag them behind us. The issue with that is these parts never go away. They contain things like hidden desires and impulses and emotional wounds and triggers and all of these things that come up in our lives. They will jump out at us when we least expect it. You'll see from some of these prompts why this is so. So this is a way that you can begin to do shadow work. One of the things I recommend for people wanting to start out with shadow work is to keep a journal. Keep a journal where you can use these prompts to write things down, but also keep a journal of times that you've been triggered. Write down for, do it for a month, do it for 2 months, do it for a year, do it for the rest of your life, whatever. But write down anytime you feel triggered, you have an overwhelming emotional reaction. What happened? What caused that? Will give you some things to reflect upon. And those are the points of having these prompts as well, is to give you some things to reflect on. What happens is by making our shadow material conscious is we start to integrate with it. Now, you might feel like if I pull up my hidden desires, if I pull up my hidden fears, if I pull up these things that I've exiled, I'm going to become a serial killer, or I'm going to do, I'm going to go out and cheat on my husband or whatever. And those things aren't true. Those things happen when we don't address the parts of our shadow. Those things, we do things that are outside of our character, outside of our ethical bounds, when our shadow parts take over, and they take over because we haven't addressed them. So the exact opposite is the truth. By doing this, we start to integrate more fully with ourselves, and our shadow actually holds some of our superpowers. And you'll see what I mean by that. So I'm going to go through these prompts one by one. You can pause this video on any one of them or each one of them, write them down. And but what you want to do is take each one of them and take the time necessary to reflect on them. And this is why I think journaling is great in this case, because it will process them through parts of your brain that you might not normally be accessing if you weren't writing them out. Journaling is a fantastic thing for doing personal development, spiritual work. So I'm going to go through these one by one. The first one, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, is reflect on a situation where you felt a strong emotional reaction. Reactivity is a good indicator of something in the shadow. What aspects of that situation might reveal hidden aspects of yourself? And I'll give you a hint. Some things to look for here are, wow, I was surprised by that reaction, or I don't know why I felt that way, or anything that's sort of surprising or unexpected, or, why did I get so upset about this simple thing? What aspects of the situation, when you had felt a strong emotional reaction, might refer to hidden parts of yourself? This is a great one. Think about a person who triggers or annoys you. Do you have pet peeves? I don't like that person. They're always doing this, they're always doing that. What qualities do they possess, or what things do they represent that might be aspects of yourself? This is a great indicator of what's in our shadow. We see things reflected in others that we don't want to look at ourselves. So, what is it that drives you crazy about other people? Reflect on that. This is a good one too. Identify a recurring pattern in your relationships, romantic, friendship, family, otherwise, professional even. What might this pattern say about your unmet needs or unacknowledged fears? We see people repeating unhealthy aspects of relationships a lot. If that's coming up for you, what does that what need does that reflect for you, or what unconscious fear? Sometimes we repeat traumas so that we can learn how to deal with them in a better way. But if we don't pull that stuff up and learn from it, we're just going to keep repeating it until we get the lesson. This is another good one. Recall a time when you felt shame or guilt. Shame in particular. Guilt sometimes is useful. I've accidentally done something to someone, broken something they owned, or had some transgression, said something that I shouldn't have. Shame is about feeling broken. Shame is about feeling like unworthiness. And shame is a really good indicator. So what beliefs, so this is the second part of this prompt. What beliefs or expectations about yourself were you holding on to that led to these feelings? Did you disappoint yourself in some way, or did some aspect of you come up? I would say sometimes our hidden desires have aspects of shame attached to them because of our cultural conditioning that it's not okay to be attracted to this person, or to want this thing, or to be want this career, or want this hobby, or whatever. And most of those ideas are junk, but our culture enforces them on us. Dreams and nightmares. Think about dreams and nightmares that had a significant impact on you. What emotions, what symbols came up in the dream for you? Very often, dream characters are representations of aspects of ourselves, especially monsters. Monsters tend to be aspects of ourselves that we're fighting, that we're afraid of, that whatever. If you ever get to the point where you are doing lucid dreaming, you can actually make friends with the monster and find out what unmet need it represents in your life. Um, Number 6, consider a limiting belief you have about yourself. I can't do this. I'm no good at this. Where did this belief originate? How might it be connected to some unprocessed emotions or experiences? What beliefs do you have that limit you? I can never do this. I can't is a really good one. I can't is a belief. Um, you know, I tried something and I failed, therefore I can't. Right. You tried one time, maybe. Number 7, reflect on a time when you acted out of character. This is a big one, or when your behavior surprised you. I talked about this emotional reaction. What parts of yourself were you trying to protect or express in that moment? Very often, being triggered, expressing anger, acting out of character, acting in a way that might be even considered cruel to somebody else, is a protective aspect of yourself coming out. What is it that you're protecting yourself from? What in your past are you protecting yourself from, if that's the case? But reflect on that time that you're like, wow, that was really out of character. Like that we all do this from time to time, but that really is not who I am. That's not who I think I am or want to be. All right. This is the last one. These are all really powerful, packed prompts that you can use to identify aspects of your shadow. Identifying them, bringing them out into the light is the first step in integration. That work alone is extremely healing, integrating, and you'll get great benefit from it. So this last one is identify a personal quality or trait that you often judge or criticize in yourself. How might this quality also be a source of strength? So I'll give you an example from my own life. So I was very recently, I'm 51 years old. When I was 50, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I've had it my entire life. In fact, you had to have had it before the age of 12 in order to even get that diagnosis as an adult. I've had it my whole life. I've struggled with that. And the disorganized thinking and the jumping from item to item very often was a trait that I judged, I criticized myself, I felt bad about. But then I realized that it could be a source of strength, because that ability to jump from topic to topic also came with the ability to get hyper focused on what I'm interested in and became a little bit of a soup. I mean, I didn't realize it for a long time, but it was a little bit of a superpower of mine where I, would jump into anything I was interested in and learn more about it than almost anybody. Like learn everything about a single topic that I could, move on to the next topic, do the same thing. So I learned a lot about the things that I was incredibly interested in. I studied martial arts when I was younger, wound up getting a third degree black belt, becoming a teacher. I jumped into shamanism with both feet and did an apprenticeship up front without doing any other training, reading any books, anything like that. I got accepted and jumped into an apprenticeship. Um, and then, studied under the same teacher for like 7 years. So that was little bit of a superpower, as a hidden strength, a source of growth. So things that you criticize in yourself, how might you look at that as a superpower or a strength or a source of growth? Like something that you don't like in yourself could be a place to grow. So think about these, write them down, go back if you need to write these down. I wouldn't do all of them together, do one at a time, spend some time with it. This will start to help you familiarize yourself with aspects of your shadow that will then become integrated, reveal your superpowers. You'll become, you'll become a more developed, happier, more fulfilled person. Hope that's been interesting. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you real soon.